What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Rodin, and it is, of course, time for another good, bad, and ugly. Someone said that they wanted to see it on the Acura TX, both generations 1 and 2, so that's exactly what we're doing. Both generations 1 and 2 of the Acura TX. The Acura TX is such an underrated car, man. An amazing daily driver. I love this car. Let me know, obviously, what other car you'd like to see in the comments down below. That's the only way that I do good, bad, and ugly, is if somebody tells me to do a car, then I will do it. And, if you want to support the channel any more than you already are, head on over to www.smoothstance.com/shop to pick yourself up a hat, shirt, or shorts. And with all that out of the way, thank you guys all so much for all the support you've been getting recently. It means a lot to me. Let's get right into the video. Alright, so as I said before, we are going to be going over both generations of the Acura TSX in this video because there's only two of them and they both aren't that confusing anyway, so it might as well just go over both. First off is obviously going to be the first generation, which went by the chassis code CL9, and it was built from the years 2004 to 2008, and during that time it did not go through any facelifts. Neither generation went through any facelifts, as a matter of fact. The car was given a 2.4 liter inline 4 that makes exactly 200 horsepower, and it was called the K24A2, which, in case you don't know, is a very good engine to build. All right, the second generation came and went, and it went by the chassis code CU2, haha, that's pretty cool, and it was built from the years 2008 to 2014, and once again it did not go through any facelifts, like I said before. I don't know why I repeated myself there. This car, however, got two different engine options. The same exact 2.4 liter inline 4 making 201 horsepower, yes, one more horsepower than the last generation, or a 3.5 liter V6 that made 280 horsepower, which honestly, depending on if you want to tune it and make it into like a race car or not, the 3.5 liter V6 would most likely be the best choice. But if you want to make power, I would recommend sticking with a 2.4 liter, since it once again is another K24, and the K24 is just great to build power on. But yeah, if you want a daily driver and something that you're not going to really build up, but you just want to have like fun out of the gate, then the V6 is probably the better option. Now, for the body styles, the TSX was offered as a sedan, or for the second generation only, had a wagon option, which honestly kind of goes pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, looking at the picture of these freaking TSX wagons, I want one now. If you're wondering how you've like seen this car before but it doesn't go by this name, it's either because you messed it up with the Acura TL third generation, since they look very similar, or if you live overseas, this car is actually called the Honda Accord 7th generation. Both the generations of the TSX were front-wheel drive only, and both were offered with a manual or automatic transmission. Personally, I'd get a manual though, and we'll get into that later as to why, but mainly just because it's more fun. Alright, so now we're into the modifying scene, what people tend to do with these cars when building them up. And I hate to say it, but the majority of TSX owners go the like show car stancy boy route. Yes, the motor is great to build, but the body lines of this car give it that like VIP style look, and since most people would rather have a like reliable cool car than an unreliable race car, they go with the latter. It does make sense because these cars look pretty damn good, slammed to the ground. They're very comfortable, they're very modern, you don't really have to worry too much about reliability. But I would just love to see so many more street builds of these cars, since these cars have that wonderful K24 in them, my boy. So where are they on the streets? Like, I see tons of boosted Integras, tons of boosted RSXs, but where are the boosted freaking TSXs, buddy? I don't see them anywhere. Now, it wasn't built to be a track monster though, so most people, if they do modify it, they go for the performance route. They stay with straight line speed. So rally racing and circuit racing is kind of out of the picture, just because it's a little bit of a heavier car. It's more luxurious, so there's no real point in building it to be something like that. Obviously, since it's front wheel drive, it's also not used in drifting either. But yeah, the majority of people that modify a TSX, they're building it for a show car. If they do build it to make power, it's going to be a straight line speed monster. I don't think I've ever seen a TSX around a racetrack. Now it is time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And in case you're new here and don't understand how this works, first we go over the good, which are things that are great about the car and they're kind of like selling points on the car. Then we go over the bad, which are things that are, you know, slight problems. If it bothers you, then it bothers you. If it doesn't bother you, then it's not a big deal at all. And then we go into the ugly, which are things that are just bad about the car and you can't admit, you're gonna have to deal with them. But we're gonna start off with the good, and first thing is the comfort. These cars, especially for their time, were some comfy little daily drivers, man. Okay, now you can relax in these puppies. Next is the aftermarket support, especially in the K series. These things have just tons of mods for the engine. Now the cosmetics we're going to get into later, but for engine aftermarket support, if you buy the K series one, you have tons of ways to go. Next would be the space. It's pretty good, man, not gonna lie. They are a sedan, so obviously it's not going to be as good as like a hatchback, but remember, they also had that wonderful crispy mispy wagon option, okay, that makes me moist. Next, I'm sorry, that was so inappropriate. Next is the reliability, especially in the little inline 4 models. These cars will last you a lifetime. I mean, it is a Honda, so that makes sense, but I just wanted to put it out there. Next is the trunk space is actually pretty decent too. If you ever need to carry like 200 cans of tuna, well, the TSX is going to do it just fine. Next is the cup holders are decent. We love it when a company makes good cup holders and you can put all your freaking Baja Blast and brews for the boys, and the TSX did just that. Next is the seats and steering wheel are supposedly very good, and you can get a very good like hold on the steering wheel, and the seats, they hug you in but while still being comfortable, so good job, Acura. Next is the price is actually pretty damn amazing on these. They are a newer car, but you can find them for under $5,000 all day, which is just an amazing deal, man. Like that's a really good deal. And finally, for the good is the speed for the price that you pay, at least. Now, obviously, it's not a race car. Like, I want to make that very clear, but it wasn't trying to be. And for just a commuter car that's really comfortable to drive and everything, it likes to get up and go. So I got to give it credit where credit is due. It's got enough speed for what it set out to do. Now it's time for the bad, and right off the bat is the sound. I actually personally think that it sounds pretty good, but it's not up to me, it's up to you. So here's a clip. Next is the looks. I think they can look a little bit boring, to be honest, but once again, this is completely up to you. This is not up to me, so it's up to make up your mind. Next is the interior quality. It's just kind of subpar, man. But once again, this is a 2000s Honda. At the end of the day, it isn't going to have Mercedes quality interior. You should expect that going into it. It's not terrible. It's not great. Next is the engine is actually, I guess, kind of hard to work on. I know that sounds weird since it's a Honda, and usually Hondas are like the best way to start learning how to work on a car, but apparently people say it's a bit too cramped in there and it's just kind of hard to reach things, which does make sense. More modern cars are getting more and more hard to like reach into the engine bay. It's annoying. Next is the engine burns oil like crazy. I feel like almost every cool car out there burns oil though, so just like make sure that you carry a quart on you and you will be golden. Me personally, I just check my oil like once a week on my 350Z and that works just fine for me. If I need to fill it up, I fill it up. But hey, if you got oil problems, welcome to the club, buddy. Everybody does. Next is the tire pressure sensor fails all the time. Honestly, I don't know why you would care about this. It's not a big problem at all, but if you do, it's a problem that they have, and there you go. Next is, even though I said that the car does have decent speed for what it is, that doesn't mean that it's fast. I'm sure you already knew that, but just in case, I thought I should let you know again, this car is not fast. It just is fast for what it is. Next is the aftermarket support for cosmetics ain't all there. It doesn't have like wide body kits or tens of bumpers to choose from for this car, or a bunch of different headlight housings or hoods and stuff like that. It doesn't have that stuff for cosmetics. I just want to make that very clear. Next is the community isn't that large. I personally like being a part of a big community, but I know that there are tons of people out there that would rather be in a smaller, more tight-knit community. So if you like that, then this is obviously a good thing. If you don't, then this is a bad thing. Next is the brakes tend to wear a little bit faster than a normal car, but I have a theory as to why that happens, and I think it's just because a lot of older people drive these cars. That's just a thought though, because older people, have you ever driven with an older guy? They like slam on the freaking brakes. It's scary. But finally, for the bad, is this car does not have all the power necessities. What I mean by that is it was built just before every car started getting like retractable side mirrors or memory power seats, which some people might find annoying, but me personally, I don't care at all. So this car doesn't have those things. Just want to make that clear. But now we are into the ugly, which are just problems that you're going to have to face, and there are 3 of them. Right off the bat is the huge one, the transmission problems. The automatic transmission in these cars love to just break whenever they want to, and so if you have plans on buying one, most definitely go with the manual. It's more fun anyways, and it's more reliable. Next is the power steering failure. It happens quite a bit, and while having no power steering isn't the end of the world, there are plenty of people that drive with no power steering. Unless you're the Hulk, it can get incredibly annoying or cause you to crash if it just happens randomly and you don't expect it. So it most definitely, my bad, can be a problem, but personally, I don't think it's the end of the world. Finally, though, for the ugly is the overall engine problems mixed with the dealership locations. I know this sounds weird, but listen, this car by all means is not unreliable in terms of the engine, but the big problem here is if something on that engine does tend to break, you have to bring it all the way to an Acura dealership, not a Honda one. I know that it sounds stupid, but that's what the forums are saying. Like, everybody in the forums are like, yeah, you have to bring it to an Acura dealership. They won't work on it at Honda. And if you think about it real quick, where is the closest Acura dealership to you? most likely it's like an hour away. So every time that you need to get this car serviced or something's wrong with it and you need to get it fixed, if you're not going to fix it yourself, then you got to drive like an hour away to get it fixed, which is a big deal. So, do I think that you should get an Acura TSX? Well, I personally wouldn't buy one, but that doesn't mean that I don't recommend them. I do recommend them for somebody that's looking for a Honda. I feel like if you're looking for a Honda, you are going to buy a Honda no matter what, so, you know, that makes sense. Unless you just want like a very fast Honda and you really don't care about the comfort, these cars are a very decent platform to build a fun like street/daily car. But if you want like just a fast drag car, then I think like a Civic 6th or 5th generation is a much better option just due to the price and weight of a TSX. The TSX is a little bit more heavy than all the other options. I mean, like Integra or RSX might probably be a better option if you just care about speed. But if you do want like the mix of speed and comfort and reliability and daily drivability, then it's incredibly great. It's reliable, it looks good, it's pretty easy to build up. Once again, not as easy as one of those Civics, but it's good nonetheless. And it's cheap to buy and maintain while being a modern car with the modern amenities that you might need in it. I think it's a great choice for a daily driver, a fun little street car. I don't think it's a great choice for like a project though. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment another video that you'd like to see down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. Let me know another car that you want to see next week, because I love doing these good, bad, and uglies. You guys seem to love watching them. So let me know whatever cars you guys like to see. And yeah, I guess with all that out of the way, oh no, I gotta say one more thing. It's a thank you. I want to thank you again, because you guys are just making my life so much better. I'm going to spoil the surprise here, because I want to just kind of let it out here. But I feel like if you're watching to the end, then you probably care a lot about this channel. I'm like really close to being able to quit my job and do YouTube full time, which is awesome. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. You guys have helped me get here. It's amazing. You guys are amazing. I love each and every one of you guys. I feel like I've connected to a lot of you guys on like a first name basis almost. It's awesome. So I just love you guys, and thank you guys once again. Das Vidania though. Have a nice night.